you heard the term 1099 employee but aren't quite sure what it means? Whether you're thinking about working as a 1099 contractor or hiring one, it's important to understand the pros, cons, and tax rules that come with this type of work arrangement. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what a 1099 employee is, how they get paid, the tax differences compared to a W-2 employee, and what you need to know before working as or hiring one. So let's first start with what is a 1099 employee, right? First things first, there's no such thing as a 1099 employee in a traditional sense. The correct term is 1099 independent contractor. Unlike W-2 employees who work directly for a company and receive benefits, 1099 contractors are self-employed and work on a contract basis. They're called 1099 workers because businesses issue them a 1099-NEC tax form instead of a W-2. This form reports how much they were paid but does not include tax withholdings because 1099 contractors are responsible for their own taxes. Hopefully that makes sense. So the pros of being a 1099 contractor, let's talk about these. One of the biggest reasons people choose 1099 work is the freedom and flexibility that comes with it. First, you're in control of your schedule. Unlike W-2 employees who have set hours, 1099 contractors can often work when and where they want. Second, there's often higher earning potential. Since you're not limited to just one employer, you can set your own rates and work with multiple clients at the same time. Some independent contractors even make significantly more than W-2 employees in similar fields. Another major advantage is tax deductions. Unlike traditional employees, 1099 workers can write off business-related expenses like home office costs, internet, phone, travel, and equipment. This can help lower taxable income and reduce how much you owe in taxes. For businesses, hiring 1099 contractors instead of W-2 employees can also be a smart financial move. Employers don't have to pay payroll taxes, health benefits, or unemployment insurance for independent contractors, which can save them a lot of money. Now let's talk about some of the cons of being a 1099 contractor. Working as a 1099 contractor isn't perfect and there are some downsides to it. The biggest drawback probably has to be no employee benefits. Since independent contractors are self-employed, they don't receive health insurance or paid time off or employer-sponsored retirement plans because a lot of W-2 employees get those. And that means you have to cover those expenses yourself. Taxes are also a big factor. As a 1099 worker, you're responsible for paying self-employment taxes, which means you pay both the employer and employee portions of Social Security and Medicare. That's 15.3% right off the top, and many contractors don't realize how much they'll owe until tax time. And also, your income can be a bit unstable. Unlike W-2 employees who receive a steady paycheck, independent contractors only get paid when they have active projects. That means if you're not constantly finding new clients or contracts, your income, it can fluctuate. And finally, for businesses, hiring 1099 contractors comes with some risks. The IRS has strict rules on worker classification, and if a company misclassifies an employee as a contractor, they could face major penalties and back taxes. All right, so let's break this down. 1099 versus W-2 employee. These are the key differences. First, let's talk taxes. 1099 contractors are responsible for paying their own taxes, while W-2 employees have taxes automatically withheld by their employer. Then we have Social Security and Medicare taxes. W-2 employees only pay half of these taxes, while 1099 contractors pay the full 15.3% themselves. Then we have work flexibility. This is another big one. 1099 contractors can set their own hours and work with multiple clients, while W-2 employees have a set schedule controlled by their employer. Then we have benefits. W-2 employees get health insurance, paid time off, and sometimes retirement plans, while 1099 contractors don't get these perks and a lot of times have to pay for this themselves. And lastly, let's talk about job security, right? W-2 employees usually have more stability, while 1099 contractors work on a project basis and it can be inconsistent at times. Then we have taxes. This is the scariest part, right? If you're an independent contractor, you don't have taxes withheld from your paychecks. So you're required to pay estimated taxes quarterly, and if you expect to owe more than $1,000 in a year, you have to pay them quarterly. And since you're considered self-employed, you also have to pay the full 15.3 self-employment tax, which covers Social Security and Medicare. So keeping track of business expenses is crucial, guys. Since 1099 contractors can deduct things like home office costs, software, travel, etc., it's so important to keep good records of these expenses through the year. Because if we're being honest, it could amount to you paying so much more in taxes. What I personally use to help kind of track all this is a tool called QuickBooks. It really helps me organize my finances, especially come tax time, because it helps kind of spread out where it needs to be and categorize everything. I highly advise you look into QuickBooks. It's one of the most widely used financial tracking tools for small businesses. I'll throw my affiliate link in the description. And before we go, I want to give some tips about common mistakes I see people make, and you need to avoid these. The first biggest thing is you need to be saving for taxes. Since nothing is withheld from your paycheck, many contractors forget to set money aside and get hit with a huge tax bill. Second, mixing personal and business finances. This is a terrible idea. Always use a separate bank account for business expenses to make tracking deductions way easier. And thirdly, keeping receipts. The IRS requires documentation for tax deductions, so always keep digital or physical copies of your receipts. And again, this is where QuickBooks can really help save your butts, guys, honestly. So if you have a business account, you should only be using that checking card for deductions and expenses. And again, these are just tips from my personal experience. I'm not a tax professional, but I've been running small business for a long time. Another thing you got to be careful about is misclassification. If you're an employer, misclassifying a worker as a 1099 contractor instead of a W-2 employee can result in IRS penalties you don't want to deal with. Okay. So let's wrap this up because honestly, it was a lot, right? Even for me to sit here and talk about it. So whether you're working as a 1099 contractor or hiring one, understanding how taxes, payments, and legal rules differ from traditional employment is crucial. If you're self-employed, keeping track of your expenses is essential, especially for maximizing tax deductions so you don't pay. And like I was telling you guys, QuickBooks can really help save so much time with this. Again, the links will be in the description. If you have any further questions, hit me up in the comments down below. But guys, before you go, one more thing here. Check out this next video. I'm super confident you're gonna love it.